The real question is can anyone hear me? That's what we need to know. Anyone out there? Anyone out there? Anyone? Anyone out there? Oh, cool. There's 2 likes. Can you hear me, Melissa? Fitzbro, that's better. Yes, yes, yes! Technology, man, you can never count on it. The only thing you can count on is you. Aiden, glad you're back. I don't know what happened there, guys. I was literally just sitting here. Make sure you give it a thumbs up so we can get all those other people back on. Turbo Willis. Hey, shout out real quick to Turbo Willis. His name's William. He's in our groups that we usually go live on. He won his first race last weekend, so pretty pumped on that. Just my mom's account. Heard that. Just got me a new 2019 KTM 85. So I'm going to go back through the spiel real quick of the Patreon. I don't know if anyone did anyone find out if it was patreon.com/themxfactory or just MXFactory? Comment which one it was, Bob, if you guys figure that out. But we're doing a giveaway if you become a Patreon today. If you're in the $1 category, we're going to pick one person. Then we're going to give a t-shirt to in that category. If you're in the $5 category, we're going to pick one person to give these sweet 100% goggles to. If you're in the $100 category, which is the money category, we're going to give one video breakdown from you riding a t-shirt and a live video to discuss your video breakdown. So, head on over there if you've got $1 to spare. And I didn't mean to rhyme, but I do that all the time. Worked. So we're going to get into some questions now that I've explained what we are doing here. There's like a quarter of the people that are on compared to where we were, but we'll answer some questions anyways. So, what's the best cardio to get ready for a race? And are y'all done making Friday fails? No, we've just been super busy working, so we haven't had time to shoot any videos. So we're gonna shoot a Friday fails tomorrow and put it out on Friday. We'll have one back this week. I think mountain biking is probably gonna be the best cross training for moto. If you can't mountain bike, rowing is good. If you can't row, running is okay, right? But I think I like rowing and mountain biking because it's utilizing your whole body. Bob, what's your favorite bike? My favorite bike is either KTM or Husky, just because I've been on them for a really long time. I saw the PTSD comment. As a veteran with PTSD, I can say that riding is very thin. Oh, you got it, premix and pedals. Oh, you ride mountain bikes too, sweet. What's your longest jump? I don't know, over 200 feet, somewhere around there. Got taken out from behind, bars went sideways, I rolled. Any advice? Well, you can't ever control anyone but yourself. So there's sometimes in this crazy sport is that your cards just aren't dealt to you the way you want them. And when someone runs into you, that's it. Let's see, if there's holes or uneven terrain while coming up to a jump, how do you handle that? Well, you've got to be able to navigate holes in uneven terrain when you're not coming up to a jump first, and making sure that you're keeping the bike straight. But if I had to give you one tip that's going to help that, it's going to be not chopping the throttle and making sure that your suspension is remotely in the right range for your setup. Getting out of, let's go back up. Getting out of deep tracks. I'm assuming that you mean ruts, like deep ruts, Ryan McLean. You just got to look way ahead, okay, and be on the gas. That's going to be my big, agree, mountain bike vision, looking down trail, massive cardio, practice similar attack position. You got it, Jeff. You understand. Any advice on ruts? Ruts scare the crap out of me. We get a lot of people asking about ruts, and I think that the most important thing is really understanding what makes you stay in a rut. And I think the biggest piece that most people don't teach is the balance between how much you're leaning and how much gas you're giving determines how well you stay in the rut. For instance, if you come into a turn and you're not leaned enough and you give it too much gas, you pop right over the top of the rut. If you come into the turn and you lean the bike way over, okay, and you don't give it enough throttle quick enough, you just fall right down. So the hard part is to be in that uncertain area for a long time in order to make it a habit and be really good at either catching your heavy lean or avoiding going over the rut. It just takes a lot of mistakes, and unfortunately you fall a lot of the time, but at the end of the day, falling in a rut, what I would do is just choose a tighter rut where you have to slow down more, and that should help you if you do fall over not getting injured at all. So let's see, practice circle ruts. What's your first bike ever? My first bike ever was a 1983 Honda 50. How do I get my kids involved? Let's go back up to that. Travis Martin, how do I get my kids involved in MX? Well, if I have a kid now, so how he'll get involved is if he ever really truly shows any interest, is that he'll get a good coach that isn't me, because I think it's very valuable to have someone else coaching your kids. It separates parent from coach, and I think that that's really good, especially when you're driving home and the rider had a bad day and they worked that out with the coach and it wasn't being worked out with the parent and it's not going home with you. So first advice would be, if he really wants to ride, find him a bike, and then right away before he rides at all, find him a coach to get him going in the right direction, and who knows where it goes from there. You guys that are watching, would you mind throwing me a little like into this? A little thumbs up so I can get some more people on here. Broke my bike today. Sorry, Bass Bro. Have you ever rode a Georgia or Maine track? Yep, I've ridden plenty of tracks in Georgia. I don't think I've ridden in Maine. I've ridden Itchicony. I've ridden Hillbilly Hills. I've ridden a bunch of tracks in Georgia. I'm from Georgia. 2-stroke versus 4-stroke. Depending on what you're riding, but right now I'm riding a 2-stroke, if that gives you any indication of what I like. Annalie Diamas, I'm gonna let that one go. I'm switching to a 4-stroke 250. I am a good rider, but don't know how to get more sponsors. So I'll give you guys all a sponsor tip. When you're asking a sponsor for a sponsorship, you have to also be thinking what you're going to give that sponsor in return, right? Kind of, for instance, like my Patreon thing. I'm asking you guys for a sponsorship, okay? For you guys to help the MX Factory continue to grow. And in return, I'm giving you the chance to win something that's way more valuable than what you're giving, right? A $40 or $50 or $60 pair of goggles for potentially a $5 donation, so basically what you've got to ask yourself is, am I winning enough races? Say, let's just go for example, say someone gave you $500 for entry fees for the year. What product are you selling for them that's of value, that equals $500 and or more, that makes sense for them to sponsor you? That's what a sponsorship is, a partnership where you're both helping each other. So I think that's where you've got to find, 8112, or 812 has amazing suspension. Doc, tell him I sent you. Yeah, so anyways, you just got to add value for the sponsorship, and it should be more than what they're giving you, in my opinion. Yeah, Steelhurt PayPal. Yeah, maybe just ask her first. All right. Let me scroll up here and see. What Southern California tracks do you like the best? I'm going in the summer. I haven't ridden there since I was racing professionally. I liked Elsinore, but I don't even know if they're still running Elsinore. Glen Helen was fun. They're all fun. It's just finding the days when they're not super dry and beat up. Sand, rock, grass for beginner. Well, it all has different requirements as far as what you ride. So I would say that just working on proper body position is probably going to be the biggest benefit. How to wheelie an XR80. Yes, we can do that. It may be like on a live video or something, but we can probably do that. Pretty upset this didn't pop up in my sub box. Come on, YT. Why is YouTube holding out on us? We're trying to do the right thing here. Daryl Spooby. Have you seen Dylan Long's whips from Australia? I have. Pretty insane. All right. How should I hit whoops? We have a video on that explains it in great detail. You should watch that over and over. All right, let me get back down to the bottom. Let's see. Another thing about sponsors, always keep them up to date on results and always present yourself in a professional manner. Yep, very important. Very, very important. However, most sponsors aren't there just for the results, but it is nice to keep them up on it. And if you have any pictures of you with your plaques or trophies or on the podium, it's always nice to share them to them. They may want to put it on their social media. How do I learn to attack corners? You need to learn how to brake well, and then attacking corners will be really easy for you. Do you think Austin Faulkner is done, or do you think he'll pull the championship in Las Vegas? No, he's done for sure. Can you do a stoppie? Yes, I think we have a how to do a stoppie video. Thank you so much, IDS Hawk Throwing Fun, for the $5 support. It means a ton. Nice. How do I get on a factory team? Buy a factory team? The odds of anyone getting on a factory team in the world are very, very small. I wasn't even able to accomplish it, and I worked my butt off for 20 years. So in a corner, I don't brake to keep my speed. Hold on, let's go back up to that one, because I think this was going to be a good one for everyone. In corner, I don't brake. To keep my speed, be holding in clutch or downshift and then back up a gear. I don't really understand that, but you should brake, because what braking does is it creates some contact to the ground with your tires, right? So you want the bike to be planted. So when you brake, it squats the bike down, plants it to the earth. When you gas, the bike is squatted and planted to the earth. So you really don't want a whole lot of time where you're not either braking or on the gas, if you want the bike to be at its best potential as far as handling goes and not sliding around. What is your opinion on all the injuries in Supercross this year? Tracks to blame, 4 strokes versus 2 strokes. Well, my opinion is that the bikes are so good that the tracks are becoming really fast, and you're able to jump a lot of jumps, for instance, quads and different things like that. And the bikes have a lot of power, and they're breaking down the tracks worse than ever. And yeah, it just creates injury. And you have a lot of people that are racing for a lot of money and a lot of pressure. I mean, it's just not a safe sport at that level, in my opinion. What's your worst injury? Well, I've broken both of my femurs. I have titanium rods in both my femurs. I didn't do it at one time, but I definitely did do it, 1 year apart. How would one jump a jump with a short run up on a small bike? With good corner speed. Do you use snow bike racing? Do you do snow bike racing? No, but I would love to. If you got any opportunity for me to come ride one, I'd do it. Get a 1972 Honda 50 for a video. Try and wheelie it. All right, if that one comes across, I'll do that. Would you recommend for someone who's never been on a bike to start out at 36 years old? Heck yeah. We teach people way older than that for the first time all the time. I meant that I usually downshift and then I am exiting the corner and shifting back up. When I brake around corners, I've noticed my lap times get worse. You shouldn't brake around corners, just before corners. How do you carry momentum around corners while racing? Well, you just don't slow down as much. You look further ahead. I think the easiest way to, like the one thing that's going to help the most is that the more speed you're carrying, the farther your eyes have to be up in order to make decisions. For instance, if your head's pointing down, you're coming into a turn faster than you normally are, you're not able to read what you actually need to do with your body to get through the turn quick enough, so you end up making mistakes. So head up further. If you're coming in with more speed, that should help you make the right decisions to get through that turn safely. When coming out of a corner, do you pin the bike or slowly get on the throttle? Depends on the conditions, but 9 times out of 10, it's a roll-on. It's like, you should be wide open by the time you get straight. If you're wide open before then, in most conditions, you run the risk of breaking the back wheel loose and sliding out. I need help to wheelie my KTM 65. Melissa, you just worry about all the other stuff. Wheelies aren't the most important thing. Any tips for a new two-stroke rider? Been riding a four-stroke for a couple years, but going to a new KTM 125 soon. Kyle, biggest difference is you're going to have to use your gears a lot more to stay in the power, and that you'll likely you'll figure that you have to carry a little more momentum around the turns to jump the jumps that you normally jump, and that you'll have to ride in a little higher RPMs. But you'll probably have more fun, so that's all good. What size bike would you recommend for someone for the first time riding at 36 years old? Well, I would buy a trail bike and then spend a year on it, get competent with your technique, and then if you want to move to like a more motocross / track bike, then go that way. So maybe like a Honda 230 or Yamaha 230, something like that. Bob. Sand / rock, which type is the best to begin motocross? Sorry, I'm from Quebec City. That's okay. I would rather ride in sand than on the rocks, because if you fall, it doesn't hurt near as bad. And if you become good at riding sand, most of the other stuff becomes fairly easy. How long have I been riding? So I've been riding for 25 years, and I'm 30 years old. KTM or Husky? It's a flip of a coin. I think KTMs are awesome. How do you feel about clean racing versus the whatever it takes to make a pass mentality? Because I know if someone were to throw their bike into me in the corner, I'm going to see about them after the race. Well, if I had to be honest with you, I've had a lot of after the race altercations in my life. It really depends. I think that when you see these guys on TV and they make aggressive passes and they throw it in there and they're like running into someone, you got to understand they're, especially at the front of the pack, they're racing for their living and a lot of money. And when you throw that in there and someone's holding you up and you know that you've got to make a pass quick to get to the next person, and that potentially could get you to the podium or whatever it is, I think you make aggressive passes. I don't think you try to hurt anyone by any means, but you definitely should throw it in there and make that aggressive pass. As far as clean racing, I mean, if you're fast enough, I think you could pass someone clean. Problem is in Supercross, a lot of these tracks are getting to be one real fast line, and you can't really move out of it to make those passes. Let's see. Cow chips. Let's see. Thanks for the wonderful insights and content. Curious to your stretching / heart rate workout pre-moto / hair scramble. So I like to do yoga. I know that sounds a little lame to a lot of people, but as an athlete that takes impacts, and a lot of you guys don't know this about me, but I also do stunt work, like TV shows and commercials and things like that. So I do falling on the side of my normal job of falling. So body takes an impact, and if you can find a way to relieve some of that by having a limber body and loose tendons and things that don't break and pop, I think that there's no better way to get into some hot yoga, which you see a lot of the pros starting to do. And as far as heart rate stuff, that's a real complicated question. But when I warm up, I try to get my heart rate up to what it's going to be at the race for at least 5 minutes. And so that means like 185, 190 for at least 5 minutes. And maybe that's 1 minute at a time. But what you don't want to be is surprised with that high heart rate. And if you know this, you know that the first time you go out to ride seems to be the hardest physically, because it's almost a surprise to your body, especially when you're racing. And so, So getting your body acclimated to that high heart rate, intense feeling before you go out there really helps when you're out there. That's my opinion on that. And that's why you see a lot of these guys on pedal bikes and the rowing machines and things like that before the races. I don't remember watching him race, but I do know of him. Talking about Jeff Matasevich. That's who we're talking about, guys. You first have to race for Team Orange. So, will you be at Murphy's MX race on May 26th? I will not. We will have someone there from the MX factory. I will be in New Mexico racing a downhill mountain bike race, or an enduro mountain bike race. So to answer your question, I won't be there. I'm going to plug this in because my phone's dying. If we lose the volume, we're really sorry. but I don't want to, just let me know how. Still hear me? Is everyone here? Thanks, pre-mixing pedals. Robert, what's up, man? Hold on. Got one of our patrons on us, with us live right now. I'm gonna ask him some questions. I had a great time coming by. Thanks for the baby advice. I also know some stuff about that if you guys have any babies on the way. Definitely be upping my Patreon tier. I forgot to get a picture though. Flat Track Coffee was awesome. I was gonna ask you that if you actually went there and what you thought about it. That place is really cool. You guys ever come to Austin, you should check out Flat Track Coffee. But first, you should come by the MX Factory and say, hey, like Robert did today. It's nice to meet him. So, volume's good. Have you ever done trails? I've done so many trails, Simon. Like, so many. So many trails I could probably ride from here to China on those trails. I'm just kidding, haven't ridden that many. But we are teaching a enduro camp this weekend in West Texas. So we teach a lot of people that ride trails, and I am pretty efficient in riding trails and know what to do, so that helps. What up, Corey? Watching from Montana. What kind of diet do you do for riding? I think that's going to be all different depending on who you are, but if you want to be lean and do kind of like what Alden and these guys are doing, the high-end guys, they're eating, you know, like higher carb days on heavy training days, lower carb days on days where they're recovering, and really working with the energy output. So whatever they're outputting as far as high heart rate, carb burning stuff, they're gonna eat carbs. If it's low heart rate, fat burning stuff, it'll be less carbs, more of a fat enriched diet. There's definitely some complications to that too, but that's just gonna be kind of built on what you're doing. You're welcome, Michael. Have you ever raced outside the US? I have raced in Brazil. I have raced in Mexico. Where else? I haven't been to like Australia or New Zealand, which I would love to go. I haven't heard of a track frozen ocean either. So yeah, I've raced a little bit outside the US, but not a whole lot. Do you go to the gym or do you have a private one or something? Well, we have a gym right here at the MX Factory, right over there. You can see the weight rack and things like that. Here, let me peel around the corner a little more. So we got some rowers, bicycles, box jumps, ropes, all the weights, weight rack. Yeah, you got the wall to do some stuff with the medicine balls. So yeah, we work out. It's been hard. We've been working a lot. So we've been riding a lot of mountain bikes, getting ready for the races. What are my thoughts on freestyle? Let me grow up and see, make sure I didn't miss any stuff. Where in West Texas? I'm currently in Odessa for work. Oh man, I'm forgetting the town right now. It's such a small town. It's like 5 hours from Austin. I have to get back to you on that. Which, by the way, we're gonna put the Patreon account in the description below this video when it's up. So if you're having trouble getting to that, we'll have the link there, so we can hook you up. What was your first bike? It was a Honda 50. I don't know if they call it an XR or a Z50 then. What's your longest wheelie on a mountain bike? I don't know, 1,000 miles, something like that. Now, I'm just learning how to manual where you stand up and wheelie. And probably my longest one of those was maybe 100 yards, which is pretty long, but that was down a hill. And I can wheelie sitting down for quite a ways most of the time. Is it breaking up still, or are we doing okay? How do I get on a race team? No, it's you. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. How do I get on a race team? You just got to win races and add value to that team. Doing okay with audio. Hook it up with a bike. Hook it up with a bike? What do you mean? Give you a bike? Come on. Have you ever thought about hosting a moto camp? Man, we host about 7 a year, maybe 10. I don't know the exact number, but we do a lot of camps here, Seth. If you wanted us to come do one in your area and you got a few buddies together, we could come do one. I can't wheelie on my mountain bike though. It's all about the back brake. As long as you're good with that, it's all good. I've ridden a sport bike for 10 years. Looking to switch to dirt. Will a 450 be too much on dirt? I think a 450 is too much for anyone. I don't ride a 450, and I can ride one well. I just think it's too powerful, and when you get tired, it's too much risk. I think a 350 is the maximum you want to go, and that you can learn a lot on a 250. We are in Austin, Texas. What should I do? There's no training areas near me. The closest decent one is 2 hours. Should I try a trainer? Colin, I mean, we're giving away a lot of really valuable free information on our YouTube channel. If you need something more in depth, we can always do an online training with you. But yeah, if you don't have any access to one, we do online coaching too. So, do you follow Ronnie Mac on Instagram? I do not. I don't know why, but his humor doesn't necessarily tickle my fancy. Let's see. Do y'all come to Florida ever? Well, I lived in Florida for a long time, but I haven't been back there in a while, no. What should you do your first time on a track? Survive. I'm the only one in school who rides dirt bikes, so I have no friends to ride with. That's okay. Riding by yourself is fun. You keep riding, you'll get more people into it. Look at me. I need help getting my front end up 120 at 4th Street. More RPMs, weight further back. Let's see. What's up, son, from Danny? My 7-year-old son, Danny. What's up, Danny? He's a big fan. Awesome. Do you think that a kid on a KX100 should upgrade to a 250 or 125? Depending on how old and big that kid is, but 125s are fun. Oh, yo, dog, what are we giving away? So Taylor asked a question. So it's not necessarily a complete giveaway, but it's mostly a giveaway. You know how internet is. They always trick you into thinking things. So if you become a patron on our Patreon account, which is this one, I have poor handwriting, patreon.com/themxfactory. If you sign up for our $1 tier, which is like $1 a month that you're donating to the MX Factory that we can put towards making these videos, we're going to send one of those people a t-shirt. $5, we're going to send one of those people a 100% goggles. And the $100 tier, we're going to do a one video breakdown. I know this is backwards and you can't really read it, but we're going to do one video breakdown. We're going to send them a t-shirt, and we're going to get on a live call to discuss their video breakdown to make sure that they got what they were going for there. So yeah, that's what we're giving away if you'll become a Patreon, which isn't super hard. And if I had to guess that 95% of you guys have $1 to give a month, you guys probably lose that in your pocket change. So if you can, that's great. If you can't, we appreciate the support of you just watching. Let's see. Missed it. Hey man, been watching all your how-to vids to be a better rider on my KTM 400 EXC. Did my biggest trail ride on Saturday, keeping in mind what I learned from you. You kept me from bending it. Cheers, mate. That's awesome. I'm glad you had fun and didn't crash. What a bummer, though. My credit card literally broke, but I'll throw in money when I get it back. All right. Well, we're going to pick the winner. We're going to give this a few days to play, so we'll pick the winner by the end of the weekend of each category, and then I'll do another live video announcing that. I'm not from Australia. How much is your online training? It depends on what you do, but if you're on our Patreon account, it's $100 a month. Can you go up and read my comment? Aiden, could you write it again? Because that could be a lot of scrolling. If you guys don't mind giving this a thumbs up, like. I don't know why my phone keeps saying 20% battery, man. I'm trying to charge it up. That would help more people. Tell you should come back to ride Durhamtown and Union Point with me. Just thought about it. I would like to come and ride some different places. I've never been to Baja Acres, no. Everybody liked this video. Thank you, Melissa. Michael, there's not really any way to do that. It doesn't charge me processing fees. However, you can become a Patreon for 1 month and then cancel it. So it's like only doing one deal. You don't have to be a Patreon forever. Did you go to any dirt bike camps as a kid riding? Good question. You got good questions. I didn't have good coaching until I was about 17 years old. And it came from this old fellow back in Florida. Some of you may have heard his name before. His name is Randy Yoho. Randy Yoho owns Dade City MX in Florida. He's taught James Stewart, Malcolm Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, Tim Ferry, all the big names that came from Florida. He's had his hands on them at one point. RJ Hampshire is teaching right now. And so he's basically who got me in the mindset of technique and knowing how important that is. Colin, it's the MX Factory, like that up there, THEMXFactory.com. So he's the one that got me in the mindset of technique and knowing that technique saves your life, basically, and working on that makes you a really efficient rider. And so credit to him, to me sitting here right now as far as my career path goes, and also having a YouTube channel for you guys. I am not playing any fantasy supercross stuff. Did you like the track or desert better? I haven't ridden in the desert very much, so it's hard for me to say. Totally hard for me to say. Scroll up here. See. My friend has a 2009 CRF 150R Expert. It doesn't start. We checked the valves and the carb. What are your thoughts? Those bikes are hard to start. We've had like 10 of those in here, and they're all hard to start. So it could be just you got to kick it more, or it could be something in the top end. The top end's bad. Who do you think will get first in Vegas? Good hard pack rider? I think Savachi's going to win. That's weird, right? I think he should, I think he's a really good, smooth rider. And the other guys are going to be worried about each other and making sure we win the championship or making sure we're trying to take out Webb, Tomac, whatever. I think you're going to have someone new win that one. Hopefully, I like to see Roxon win. I think he deserves a good win. So, you told me that I have a nice rack? What? Bike rack on your car? Cool. That would be great. Savachi is a great rider. He's a good guy, too. I trained with him a couple years ago at Carmichael's, 2017. Nicest guy in the world. Have I been to Loretta's? Yes, a lot. A few times, at least. Let's see. What else you guys got? Thanks for the thumbs up on here, too. From Philippines watching, nice. Bruh moment. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Arm pump, you're the man. Oh, Aiden has a CRF 150 and it works fine. Someone else says, or same person says that you said I have a nice rack. Have you raced in Dade City? Yes, a whole lot. I spent most of my pro riding racing there. Let's see, there's coming in. Hoping to meet a bunch of riders when I go to Unadilla this year. I am pumped. First time going there. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. New rider here. Love your vids. Question. I rode when I was a kid on a KX85. Getting back into it as a 25-year-old. What is a good bike to buy? If you're going to be on the track and you've got some experience, I would say like a 254 stroke of some sorts. Good bikes, for sure. Let's see. Let's keep scrolling. Nice 10 minutes from home. I will be surprised if someone dislikes. That would suck if they dislike it, but you know what? A funny topic. People are always hating on some way. I run 12 pounds of pressure, front and rear, basically anywhere I go. How does the online training work? Well, basically, what's this? Indigo, Nave. Man, you guys' names on here are wild. Online training works like this. The way I like to do it is send a video that you guys can access at all points. So you send a few videos to me, I can break down where you're riding, and then I can give you a video of myself looking at your video, breaking down what you need to improve on, and even some structure behind that. Say you need to improve on your standing technique. I would give you some drill work to improve on that, and then we would check in every couple weeks to see where you're at. Let's see. Have you seen Thumb Throttle on any racing bikes out there? I haven't seen it personally, but I know it's out there. I've never done any vintage racing, but I wouldn't be against it. Sam, my man, what's up? So, I know it's hard to become a pro, but what do you think is the most important thing to do to make it? The most important thing to do to make it. Let me go steps here. It's important that you have really, really great technique. It's important that you have a mindset that's willing to fail. It's important that you are consistent with your riding and training. It's important that you don't get injured. It's important that you are good at soliciting sponsors. It's important that you have a lot of support. It's important that you have good equipment, and that comes from usually sponsors. So yeah, there's a lot of variables to becoming pro. What's the question you get the most? The question I get the most is, when are you gonna cut your hair? When are you gonna cut that man bun off? And the answer is, whenever I feel like it. But motocross related, what's the question that I get most is, I can't hit ruts. How do I hit ruts? I think that's probably the most common one. Colin, I just explained how the online training works, so I'm not going to bore the people that have been on here, but you will be able to scroll back in this video at about 33-minute mark and hear me explain that. I appreciate your interest. Lots of hard work. Yep, you got it, Jeff. What do you reckon about a KTM 150SX? And are they decent? I have a video of me racing one at Thunder Valley against Ryan Sipes, and I loved it. It was a great bike. I know how to hit a rut, but my issue is I hate falling so much I can't commit. Well, that makes me think that you don't necessarily really know how to hit the rut, because if you did, you'd be confident that you wouldn't fall. However, if you hate falling so much that you won't commit, it's likely going to lead you to falling more. So maybe you should work on your commitment issues. You know how many girls I've heard tell me that? Shoot. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. All KTMs are good. I'm 18 years old. Do I still have a chance to get really good at racing, or is it too late? I think that there's never too late to become good at something you want to become good at. It's just how much work are you willing to put in, and how strategic are you going to become? One last question. Do you ride on the road as well? I don't ride on the road. Did anything change from what I just did? Because I accidentally hit the wrong button. Any techniques you would improve for your own riding or no? Absolutely. The thing that I work on the most is connecting my throttle to my braking, keeping the bike planted in ruts. Also looking ahead's a big thing that I'm not the best at in the world, so I'm always thinking about that. And then, yeah, I've always been a pretty smooth rider, so having some intensity at the right times I think has been important. Do you do road biking, cycling? I don't. I do have a road bike, but I usually just ride it on the trainer because I think it's, where I live at least, is pretty dangerous to ride on the road. So mainly on the trainer. First thing you upgrade on a new bike, suspension, 100%. What else do we got? This video is helping answer a lot of my questions. Thanks. That's what I'm here for, man. I don't know that anyone's going to rewatch this video for 40 minutes, but if they do, they'll get a lot of questions answered. Any tips for mental prep and building confidence? Repetition. You got to figure out what you're bad at, figure out how to do it, and rep it out, and the confidence will just flourish from there. Any suggestions for a first MX race? I do have some suggestions. One, know how the starting process works so you're not sitting at the gate when it drops and not knowing what's going on. Two, let the goal of the race be going across the starting line and going across the finish line, and nothing more, nothing less, because expectations are what breed disappointment. Should I keep riding even though I hurt my leg and my arm bad? If you love it and your arms and legs healed, I don't see why not. Ben. Okay, this is a good one. I've answered this in the jump video before, I think, but we'll do it again. On a small jump face where your bike is longer than the actual face of the jump, what should you do so you don't go over the bars? You have to, one, get your weight back when you're hitting the face. So I think about my butt ends up being over the back fender, but you have to time that right. You don't want to just ride with your butt over the back fender because it'll still kick you forward as soon as the bike hits the face of the jump. So if you're here with the bike, when the bike hits, the butt goes back as you get to the top, and then when you get in the air, it kind of meets it. You don't want to start here because when it hits, it's just going to leverage you and throw you over the front even more. So it's really a timing issue, and then also being on the gas hard through the face of the jump. So, like really giving it the berries right at the bottom. Like where if you did that on a jump face that was longer, you would loop out. That's kind of how you want to think about it. I want to thank you for all the bids and great attitude you bring to riding. My son and I are always checking them out and picking up tips. Thank you again, IDS Hawk Throwing Fun. Would it be a good idea to build my own track instead of having to pay and do work to be able to ride at my local track? Good question, Colin. Oh boy. That's a fantastic question. If you only understood what it takes to actually run your own track, you would be grateful for the little bit of money that you have to spend to ride at one. If your local track is prepping the track for you, if they're paying the insurance, if they're hiring the staff to run it, if they're paying the flaggers, if they're, whatever it is. At my track, we have lights. If they're paying the electricity, those are all the things that you don't have to worry about to pay your $25 or $30. I wouldn't wish running and owning a track on too many people because it's not a money maker, and everyone has their own opinion on how it should be. So if you have the opportunity to have your own track and you have the time to keep it up and things like that, then I say do it. But otherwise, be super grateful that someone's doing that for you and gladly pay them. Yeah, if you guys are watching this and you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribed. That'd be fantastic. You got it, Jay Peters. Let's see. There's 2 Melissas on here. Hey, how could I start a team / riding organizer? So MX Legion, how could you start a team? Well, everyone wants to be on a team, so it shouldn't be hard to start one. It's just going to be hard to fund it. So I think if you have any background in raising money, that's where you should start because it's going to cost some money. If it's just simple like call it club, where you guys have a name and you guys can all pay for your own graphics, things like that, I think that'd be pretty easy to put together. How do you judge what gear and speed to hit a jump? Lots of hitting jumps the wrong way a lot of the time. Does any new bike have 6 gears? I don't know the answer to that. What I did is make sections I'm bad at, not a full track. Fair enough. I think that's cool. Do you need strong machinery? Yes. Watching you ride a dirt scooter is good for a lot of people. You help me. Thanks, Rob. The best way to not get arm pump. That's a good one and very complex. I'm going to tell you a story and be very vulnerable because people love to judge. So I completely healed my arm pump, right? And not many people are willing to do it the way that I did it. Because I used to, when I was racing professionally, that was the crutch I had, was my arm pump was too much, right? And I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I don't tell very many people because most people will judge it and they won't try it and they don't have enough discipline, nor do they want to. But there's 2 things I gave up. I gave up meat, I gave up dairy. I ate all plant-based, so fruits and vegetables, protein shakes to keep up on the protein and feel good there. And then obviously lots of veggies, lots of fruits. And when I did that, gone. And to be honest with you, I since then have started eating meat, little chicken here and there, not a lot, little fish here and there, not a lot. I don't do dairy, but I still don't really get it. So it's almost like I cleansed myself of that and became, I turned the switch on my brain that it can be gotten rid of. And then, the fact that I don't eat a lot of that now, I don't get it as much. But I think if I completely cleaned up my diet again and didn't eat any. I wouldn't get it at all. So that's where I'm at on it. May not work for everyone, but everyone that I've had try it worked. Giveaways. All right, one more time I'm gonna go back through this. Otherwise, Weiner, Win, Umbo. You'll have to maybe go back. I don't want to bore these guys that have been on here for a while, but I'm going to do it anyway. Patreon account. If you become a Patreon, can you guys read this? Probably not. Patreon.com. Oh, crap. Definitely can't read it upside down. Patreon.com/BMXFactory. If you become a $1 Patreon, this is where we use this money to go back into the channel, upgrade videos, buy GoPros, travel to different tracks and shoot videos, things like that. If you become a $1 Patreon, you're in the raffle for a t-shirt. If you become a $5, you get these sweet 100% goggles. Boom, boom. Also with tear-offs, because we don't always win practice. And then if you become a $100 one, you're big ballin' and you really want to help us out, we'll do one video breakdown of you riding. We'll send you a t-shirt, and it's a live chat, meaning we will get on a live call with you, whether that's Skype or Zoom or whatever it is, and break down your riding for you. All of these shippable items are free within the country as far as shipping goes. If it's out of the country, that's on you, because I've already made that mistake. Anyways, back to that. Sorry for boring you other people that have already heard that 10 times. These live streams are very helpful. Thanks, Nolan. If you ride a lot, the arm pump won't be as bad if you don't for a week or sometimes a couple of days. Yes, that's true. The more you ride, that helps. Okay, let's answer this one. Valdez. There's a jump at my local track, and if you don't jump, there's a drop. I'm really new to jumping, but don't have the guts on this one. Any advice, or just hitting the gas? My advice is that you roll over that jump or go around it until you're really comfortable with jumping, because the risk isn't worth the reward if you don't make it. I would rather see you safe and be able to continue practicing your jumping journey rather than landing the wrong part of that landing or into the face of the landing and getting hurt. So just take your time and watch our jumping video. There's a lot of great tips there. If you practice those, it'll really help you. What is the best stuff to clean your goggles? I take the lens out and just use water on the lens because I don't want to ruin the lens. And then I just simple green the goggle strap in the goggles, spray it off, let it dry out. Works great. I use simple green on everything though. When you turn 60, do I think you'll still ride? I'll ride in some form, whether that's on the road or whether that's dual sport or whether I'm still racing and riding moto or whether I'm still racing mountain bikes. I'm pretty much a rider to the core, so I think something I'll be riding. Hopefully not like a wheelchair or anything like that. I mean, let's just be real here. I beat up my body, so I'm gonna try to take care of it the rest of my life here. Any suggestions for hitting a wall that is not meant to be jumped? Wouldn't jump it if it's not meant to be jumped, to be honest with you. When I go into turns, I lock my back brake because it's touchy and I stall the bike. Should I start pulling in the clutch? No, Colin, you should either adjust your rear brake or practice more, because being able to slow your bike down with the clutch out is helping you slow the bike down. So I would just keep practicing, man. A lot of people do that, so don't get down on yourself about it. Just keep on practicing because it takes a little while. How young would you start a kid? Great question. We were just talking about this today. We have some really young kids that ride here. We have a 4-year-old that rips around pretty good. And I was talking about with my kid, someone asked me today, or actually Robert asked me today when I'll start my kid. And I think the biggest mistake people make is they start their kid before they're mentally ready to make the decision to, or they're mentally ready to get themselves out of trouble, right? We can get anyone to ride around at any point, but sometimes they're not mentally developed enough to when things go wrong that they can make a decision quick enough to save themselves. And so I think the magic age is like 7, 6. Every once in a while, you have a 4 and 5-year-old that just really gets it and really truly understands, but that's just going to be, kids develop different mentally, different ages. So it's really going to be depending on where your kid's at mentally and how well they're picking things up and if they're able to save themselves from mistakes. Because the last thing you want to do is spook a kid when they're really young and mess that up. So that's my advice there. See what else we got. We're about to hop off here. We've been on here for over an hour, including the other video. Let's see. This is a good question. Love the channel. I've got a 7 to 850cc kid about to go to the 65. He is on a CRF50 now. YC65 or KTM 50? Well, depending on his height, the quicker you can get him off 50s, the better, because those things are a nightmare. They break a lot, they're loud, they're annoying. They don't teach great habits because they don't have clutch and gears. Man, I'll skip the 50 phase if I could. Do you think Johnny Hopper is a credible source for riding tips? I don't know who Johnny Hopper is, to be honest with you. And I haven't watched any of his videos. But maybe I will, just since you said something. So yeah, that's that. I don't really know. I don't want to take anything away from the guy, but I in my opinion, and this isn't me being arrogant, I think that we put a ton of effort into trying to make our videos very relatable to a lot of people. And as long as they have that in mind when they're coaching and they're giving the proper steps, I think everyone in that world should do that. Have you seen Jeff Walker's videos? I have. It's more of a vlog kind of thing. In my opinion, most of it I've seen. And just to get your opinion on things, would you guys watch videos if I vlogged a day here, coaching and whatever, going on our mountain bike rides and doing things like that? Would you guys watch those type of videos? We haven't ventured into the vlogging world or the behind the scenes world or all the stuff that everyone else is doing, because we really want to get a bunch of videos out that added some value before we really did that stuff. I think that stuff's cool, but we want the MX Factory to be about learning. So I want to just make sure before we do that we don't ruin what we've got as far as an audience by just doing, not to say we do boring stuff, we got lots of fun stuff we do. So it might be cool that you guys see that. Arm pump, you want to see some mountain biking stuff. How will you know if you won the giveaway? We're going to do another live video Friday. We'll be traveling to a track. So I'll hop on the phone and let Cody drive, and I'll announce who won, and then we'll ship the stuff out the following week. Let's see. Okay. So a lot of yeses on the vlogs. So we'll definitely do one of those, see how that goes. You know what, maybe we'll do a vlog from our camp this weekend. That'd be cool. I'll take the GoPro video, I'll take the phone with the little gimbal thing that I bought that I've never used, and we'll vlog this camp this weekend, make a little video out of it. How about that? If you come to the Northeast, we have some pretty cool mountain bike trails. I would love that. Where do you live in the Northeast? Just a question. What is your opinion on Recluse? I think it's good for some people, the Recluse. Enduro camp vlog. You got it, Jeff, coming your way. I watch daily vlogs from y'all religiously. You can focus the vlogs around learning, just like Scotty Kramer vlogs, but it's focused strictly around BMX riding. You should go on a track with a GoPro and just show some tips and tricks for riding on the track. All right, thanks for the suggestions. Pennsylvania, huh? Okay. How do we enter the giveaway? So I've explained it a lot. Two-wheel mountain bike. I love that you mountain bike. Basically, it's sign up on our Patreon account, become a Patreon. It's a $1 minimum. You get a t-shirt. You enter in a drawing for a t-shirt. $5 minimum, 100% goggles. Got it written down here. $5, 100% goggles. If you do the $100 tier, big ballin', you can, you'll get a one video breakdown from us, t-shirt, and a live chat. So we'll hop on a Zoom call for 20, 30 minutes and break down a lot of your riding and life problems and girlfriend problems or boyfriend problems. I can help with all that. Maybe not. Like an hour from Pittsburgh. Where's the best place to start to race? Inside, outside, or middle? I like inside. I always go inside because you have the power of pushing the people out. I got a new job. This is funny. I got a new job with essentially unlimited overtime. I might drop $100 just to hear you tear me apart. Taylor, I would love that. I would love to tear you apart. More importantly, we'd love to help you. Hey from Michigan, what up? Have you raced against famous racers? Definitely have. I used to train with the stewards. I raced against Filippo and all those guys. Best finish ever was 11th outdoors. Bike blew up the next moto, so didn't really do good for me in the overall. But anyways, how should I get my parents to let me race? They let me ride at a track, but won't let me race. I don't have the answer to that because I don't really know why they're not letting you race. Guys from PA, ever been to Candy Town? All right, guys. I think it's time we bail out of here. It was super nice chatting with you guys for an hour. We were on here for an hour. Unreal. Ridden quite a few Supercross tracks. So, again, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for watching. If you became a patron on this live video, so much love to you. It's much appreciated. Even $1 goes a long way with what we're doing right now. We've got a lot going on, a lot of overhead, a lot of time that we're coaching and different things like that to try to keep this YouTube channel alive. So we do appreciate your support. And, oh, come on. Tell the wifey that $1 is not going to take away from her nails getting done. Don't tell her I said that, please. Please. We'll try to do more live videos, Aiden. It's hard time-wise, but thanks, Corey. Thanks, Premix and Pedals. We love you guys. We appreciate